r/AskReddit. Other than cheating, what secret do you keep from your so to prevent upsetting them? My wife is a huge animal lover, volunteered at local shelters and such before our kids were born. One night years ago she was leaving work and outside the front door, she found a small bird, probably a sparrow, on the sidewalk. It didn't run or fly away, so she assumed it was hurt. She ran back inside, got a box, and searched online for a bird rescue and found one about 20 to 30 minutes away. She drove the bird there, dropped it off, and they took her information because they said they would send her a card as a thank you. This was at least 6 or 7 years ago, and she still brings it up every so often and remembers that they never sent that card. They did send the card thanking her for bringing the bird in for help. The card also said they euthanized the bird because it had broken bones in its wing, maybe from being hit by a car in the parking lot. I read it and crammed the card deep into the trash because I didn't want her to get upset that the bird she tried so hard to help had to be euthanized. Edit. Wow. My first gold. Thanks, kind stranger. Definitely a hero move. I would be crushed if that happened to me. Just like that lady's cat. His favorite dip is like 80% mayo. He has a terrible aversion to mayo. His mom has made it when he's not been around his whole life. And now I continue the charade. It's a really good dip. Edit. Thank you for the silver. Also, I did not expect this to blow up. My husband is totally gonna find out now, lol. Recipe. 0.5 cup sour cream. 1.5 cup mayonnaise. 2 tablespoons dried dill weed. 2 tablespoons dried minced onion. 1 tablespoon dried parsley. 1 teaspoon garlic powder. 1/8 teaspoon salt. Mix everything together. Chill for 30 minutes, longer is better. Serve in a hollowed out pumpernickel bread bowl with the removed bits pulled into smallish pieces. My aunt and uncle were visiting one day. My wife had made carrot cake. My aunt helped get the slices ready and told my wife that my uncle doesn't like carrot cake, so let's call it spice cake. He wolfed that spice cake down. Lol. Had a friend the same. He hated everything about tuna and his wife would make the best tuna casserole. Boy did he eat the hit out of that chicken casserole every time. My ex so used to read me chapters from whatever book he was reading at the time. It was usually me that initiated it. Mostly because it felt so warm and intimate. But also because I knew he had dyslexia and dysgraphia as a child, so it would give him a little boost of confidence. But this also meant he was actually really terrible at reading stories. I'm talking pure monotone. It made any book extremely boring, and I would cuddle up next to him so I could see it and read it in my head as he read. But I like to think the good outweighed the bad. And I never told him. This is adorable. My husband is the same way. And so I made a point that he has to read my daughter a book every night before bed since she was 2 weeks old. And she's just over a year now, and whenever he says, "Do you want me to read you a book?" she crawls over to her bookshelf and picks out a random book and is squealing with delight. He plops her beside him and she giggles. He's learned to go from monotone to reading with emphasis and voices for her. And the smile on his face when he knows she's excited to read is amazing. I can never tell him he used to read terribly, adding in random words because he couldn't pronounce or understand a certain word. I figured having him teach our daughter would be teaching him as well. And it has. This is the most wholesome hit. Few years ago my wife lost her grandfather, was working a hitty job, and was developing some of the medical issues we are currently dealing with. One night I went out to start her car to warm it up before her shift and found a parking ticket, pocketed it, paid it, and tossed it without her knowing. She didn't need that on top of everything else. I suppose this deserves an edit at this point, since it's now my highest rated comment. Thank you for the gold. And especially thank you all for the kind words. I don't consider myself a great husband, but I try. And it's things like this that I hope help make a difference for her. I hope everyone else can find the happiness they need as well. Compared to some of these, this is little. But it's the little things that make for a great marriage. Well done. Yeah, I like this one. What a sweetheart. Occasionally I hide bananas and make them reappear when they are brown, just so she will make banana bread. Look. You bought these bananas and no one ate them, so they're brown. I'm not about to waste these, so why don't you make some banana bread or something? Soon other side comment. I know my BF is hiding bananas, so I'd make some banana bread. I don't love it that much, but I love him too much to tell him I know about hiding bananas. Because I know how much he likes that banana bread. My sweetie. And then there is the banana side. I always watch ahead in Game of Thrones. They talk during each episode, and I can tolerate it better if I've already seen the episode. Why do they talk so much during shows? Especially weird when soon after they start to discuss what someone said, or why he is doing what he is doing. Literally the thing you'd know if you've just watched and listened. Who's that? How the duck should I know? We have the exact same information at 2 goddamn minutes in. When my girlfriend was pregnant, she liked to take baths every night before bedtime. Every now and again, I'd join her and enjoy that relaxing hot water. One day we are both sitting in the tub when she farted a big nasty fart. She and I both laughed, and I gave her hit for possibly breaking the tub. Then there it was. I notice a few brown things in the water. Turns out she had pooed a little. I was so absolutely disgusted that I nearly vomited. I didn't want to freak out because I know she would feel absolutely terrible and impossibly embarrassed. So I turned the jets on, added some bubbles, and sat there with her for another 10-15 minutes. Afterwards I suggested that we both shower off because I had added too much soap for bubbles. I still think about those poop chunks floating around next to me whenever I take a bath. Edit. My highest upvoted / first gilded comment is about jetting hit particles around the tub while my girlfriend and I enjoyed a hit bubble bath. Thank you Reddit. So your choice when confronted with it in the bathtub was to jet that hit around into a big steaming bowl of hit stew? I'm dying at work right now. I never said I'm good under pressure. My wife once did the joke. Why did the chicken cross the road to get to the idiot's house? Knock knock. Who's there? The chicken. Over text with me. I fell for it because I knew it would make her happy. She loves talking about how she got me, and it makes her so happy I can't bring myself to tell her I was the one who told her the joke in the first place. Well, clearly your house does have at least one idiot living in it. Oh, sorry. Nice. I feel really bad about how much money he spends on me, food, gifts, gas money, and he refuses to let me pay him back, so sometimes I slip $5 and $10 bills into his wallet, pockets, and dresser drawers for him to find. If he gives me his card to go into stores to buy something, I use mine instead and don't tell him. He'd be really sad if he found out because he loves taking care of me. Oh man. I think I might start doing this. My so always tries to pick up the bill for things I know should be my responsibility to share, or if it's my turn and he refuses to take my cards, I might start leaving small bills around for him to find. Just need to figure out where. Since slipping it in his wallet that never has cash anyway would be a little suspect. As a man who also tries to never carry cash, stick those bills in his pants or jacket pockets. I amaze my own self with the amount of money I put into my pockets and just completely forget until I wear the pants or jacket again. It's always a nice surprise. I knew he was going to propose. The man is so easy to read. He's my open book. I love that about him. He wears all his emotions on his face. He'll plan a trip for my birthday months in advance, but then be so excited and proud about surprising me that he has to tell me straight away or make me guess where we are going. He's not so cracking at surprises. So he's always so proud of himself that he surprised me that one time. And that I had no idea, except I did. I heard him talking to his granddad about the ring and saw the heart-shaped lump in his pocket. Plus he'd been talking about marriage all the time, thinking he was being sly. I'll take it to the grave. It honestly makes him so happy, and he'd be so disappointed with himself if he thought he'd given it away. God, I love that man. Ditto. My husband is terrible at surprises and wasn't very subtle in asking me my ring size and etc. while he was studying abroad in Europe. Shortly after he returned, I was helping him unpack his bags and I think I told him I unpacked one of his bags and his eyes went all wide and panicked. I didn't find the ring he had stashed in there, but he thought I had. I didn't think much of it until later. The next day he was like, hey, we should go for a walk, I think I know a good route. Which is unusual, since he usually doesn't plan that far ahead. He wanted us to walk past the building where we had our first class together and where we met for our first date, plus a few other spots that meant something to us. Then wanted to walk to our nearby nature preserve where we spent a lot of time, where he ultimately proposed. I totally knew what he was going to do, but I kept my mouth shut and let him romance me because I loved it. He was so nervous and adorable too. We've been married about 4.5 years now, have 2-year-old, and I'm glad I met this sweet nerd of mine. I took a girlfriend with me on a vacation to Hawaii. First thing we did when we hit the Airbnb was shower off. It's a long flight. I'm washing her down, and as I was washing her I noticed she's left a huge hit stain on this wash rag. I'm disgusted, but I love her, so I clean her up and hide the rag so she doesn't find out. Later that night, I wake up and do a secret load of laundry so she never knows. This is literally my worst nightmare. What a champ. I can tell you really love her. Yup. I thought she was the one. She's actually an ex-GF though. Turns out she was cheating on me. So. My wife has a beautiful heart. I jokingly call her a Disney princess because any animal that she comes across she has to talk to and greet. She has cried by seeing a dead raccoon on the side of the road before. At the time, I was working day shift and she was working a swing shift. I had a busy day, but I saw she sent me some pictures of a young doe that was eating in our front yard. She seemed thrilled. I came home and saw the same deer, dead, on my goddamned porch. I felt like I started to hear the first 48 theme playing as I realized I have 6 hours to get rid of this thing before my wife gets home and her world is shattered. I call my local city authorities thinking they wouldn't want a dead animal in the middle of town. Turns out, they couldn't care less. I called some local raptor shelters to see if they could take a stat donation, but it turns out the dead deer business is booming, and they didn't have a need for donations at this time. Especially in the next 6 hours. Frustrated, I call my dad to vent and get advice on what to do. His response is only a hold on bud. I'll be there in 15 minutes. I go back inside to take care of the dogs, and within the next 15 minutes I see me dad back his huge truck into my backyard. Has the tailgate down and is knocking on my door with a pair of nitrile gloves on and another pair in hand for me. It was starting to get dark out, but we had that thing loaded up and found a special place to dispose it. We made it back with 20 minutes to spare before my wife got home. I haven't told my wife because I think it would either break her heart or creep her out at how efficiently my dad can dump a body. Anyway, Woofy thinks her dear friend is alive and well, and totally not at the bottom of a ravine. This deserves to be way higher up than it is. Your dad is a ducking keeper. No questions, just I got you fam. Gloves and a disposal site. Yeah. My dad is the hit, and one of my favorite people on this planet. The first piece of jewelry I bought my wife was a necklace. We went on holiday, and she lost it. I said I would replace it, but it wasn't the same. She was upset that she lost it for sentimental reasons. I emailed the hotel and of course they hadn't found it. So I bought a replacement and told my wife they found it. This is so selfless and sweet. Good human. How much her apartment cleaning service costs. My best friend growing up, practically my brother, owns a cleaning service. So I get the owner's rate. They clean my house for $60 a visit, which is insanely cheap here. When I first met my girlfriend, at some point in conversation it came up that I use a cleaning service, and she joked, "Oh, Big Shot pays other people to clean his house." So I told her how. Fortunately for me, it's not really a big expense. Fast forward a month or so, and she spent like a whole Friday night and Saturday cleaning. We both work a ton during the week, so I was like, I'll pay for your cleaning service, so we have more time to spend together on weekends. She wouldn't let me pay for it, but asked me to sign her up with my friend's service. And she just gives me the $60 or pays for some common expense in that range. Thing is, I couldn't get the owner's rate for her. So it's really like $150 a visit. She loves having a cleaning service and appreciates having more free time, but she wouldn't pay $150 for it. I don't really care about the money. Just want her to be happy. So I don't tell her what it costs. Hey, it's me, your girlfriend. Can't make it again. Still cleaning. Huh. And her place didn't even seem that clean when I went over on that Sunday. She must be really bad at cleaning. My girlfriend moved in with me a few months ago and wanted to split the monthly bills. I was already covering all of it, so I was okay just continuing that way, but she was insistent. She's also not making too much, so instead of telling her the real amount, I told her a lower, but still believable amount to pay. It isn't much, but I feel a little better knowing that she's saving up a bit more every month than she would otherwise. Edit. Thank you all for the kind words and the great advice. She's definitely marriage material. I'm shopping for the ring now. That's where a good amount of the extra money has been going. The rest of the money is definitely going towards a down payment. As for hurt feelings and sharing responsibilities, if she ever found out, she'd understand and appreciate the gesture. She's in her last year of school with a nice job lined up for afterwards already, so we can always revisit finances later. Either way, she's amazing, so I don't think she'd take it poorly. Edit 2. Never thought I'd get a chance to say this, but thanks for the gold. If you think she is marriage material, keep paying in your own as you did before she moved in, and put whatever she gives you into a savings account. When you get married, reveal it as a honeymoon fund or house down payment. Even if she isn't marriage material, it's a good